It's okay to have noise in your class. As long as students are participating and engaging, that's the important piece. Think about your last professional development day. How focused were you really during those 3 hours? Maybe you started checking emails or your mind wandered to your grocery list. This is something that we expect of our 6, 7, 8, 10, 12-year-olds, for them to be sitting and absorbing all of the information that's being shared with them. This is an impossible task, right? It's not something that we are even able to do during our professional development days. There's oftentimes we yearn to get up and move, or we need to take notes, or it'd be a great opportunity to discuss something that's being shared with our neighbor. The truth is that our brains weren't designed to learn this way. We need to have interaction, opportunities to think, create, and move while we are learning. And research consistently shows that movement increases attention, improves memory, and helps students stay engaged in learning. When students interact with their learning, it becomes purposeful, and purposeful learning creates meaning, and that's when learning sticks, when it's meaningful, when they can connect with it. The good news is that adding movement doesn't mean turning every lesson into a song and dance routine, even though I love to do that. But here are 4 simple ways to add in movement to your classroom without having to do a song and dance. The first one is to walk the room. This is a strategy where you can put up pictures, it can be vocabulary words, it can be anything really that the students are learning, but an opportunity for them to get up, walk around the room, and share their observations. To level this up, you can give them a clipboard, or maybe they're just using a whiteboard, but to take notes. So anytime you are going to add in movement, it is essential that you share with students what the expectations are. Hey, we're going to be getting up. I'm going to have you walk around the room. Our voices should be quiet. Our voices should be focused on what we're discussing. So something like that, something where the students recognize what's expected of them. You could add visual displays. Maybe it's something where the students have already completed projects. They have them on their desks and they can walk around the room, maybe take some notes, and then have an opportunity to share those. This allows students to engage. They are up, moving around. Maybe they're even discussing with a partner what it is they're learning and observing. This can take place of just having them sit on the carpet or in their desks and listening to information. You're giving them an opportunity to walk around the room. The second strategy is centers. Centers aren't just for primary grades. In fact, older students benefit them just as much. But students naturally have movement built into them, and they also have a time element that's built in too. So students work at centers for a short amount of time, which is great for our attention spans. They focus in for 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes, but 10 to 20 minutes. They're working on a task, then it's time to get up, rotate, and move to the next center. What these centers, how you structure them is up to you. They can be unconnected, right? Students are maybe working on writing, they have a math, maybe there's a tech center or a free choice center, whatever it may be, or they can all be connected and students are doing centers based on the topic that's being shared. But again, just make sure that you share how to transition students, because that is a procedure where time can get lost. Strategy 3 is to find a partner. And partner activities are one of the most engaging tools that you can use, and they can be really quick. Again, you have to create routines and expectations for students. But when you prompt students to go and find a partner, you want to have them get up and move. Turn and talk is a great one, but it doesn't provide that movement element. So get up, find a partner. Maybe you're sharing cards with them where they have to find a match. Maybe they already know who their partner is, but that is going to decrease the amount of wasted time. So you want to make sure that students know how to find a partner. They know what they're expected to do. And when you're having them discuss as a partner or team, you want to make sure it's an open-ended question. They're not looking for the right answer, but maybe they're sharing their experiences or their thoughts on that information. It also gives you an opportunity to get up, walk around, listen to conversations, and hear how they're doing. Strategy 4 is 4 corners. This isn't the game that we play at recess, but what you can do is place different answers around the room or options. Again, you want to create something where it's open-ended. There's not a correct answer. I don't know if you ever played 4 corners. I guess it was more the dice game, but at the roller rink, they would roll the dice, and if you were staying in that area, you were eliminated. That's what we want to avoid for our students. We want this to be an opportunity for them to have choice and share with others similarity. So it shouldn't be like, oh, someone's isolated because they chose that answer and they could be wrong. You want to look for open-ended questions like, which character showed courage? Which invention had the greatest impact on society? Which strategy would you use to solve this math problem? So having those already built in allows students to have choice, and you're adding in movement so that they can get up and find the answer. They can also share with somebody else, and maybe they're sharing out the other strategies so teachers can, or students can hear their responses as well. So a discussion element deepens thinking. Any of these, whether it's find a partner, it's 4 corners, centers, or the gallery walk the room, if you add discussion to that, that's only going to level up too, because you're giving them purpose, you're letting them share out, and it's a smaller discussion conversation than sharing out the answer or their thoughts with the entire class. So it can be a little more valuable for students and take that pressure off. An engaged classroom with these ideas, it may not always be quiet. Students might be more vocal because they're discussing elements. Centers might be a little bit quieter than walk the room or 4 corners, but it's okay to have noise in your class. As long as students are participating and engaging, that's the important piece. When administrators walk in, they're not necessarily looking at the volume of your class. They're looking at what students are doing. How are they participating? What's going on in your class? That's what's really important for them. They want to see that students are engaging. It's great to have a quiet class, but at the end of the day, we really want our students to be learning. So don't let the pressure of having a quiet or controlled classroom have you be intimidated to add movement into your class. It can be small movements. They can get up, walk around the room as I shared. Maybe they rotate centers. And then with any engagement strategies that I share in this series, it's important to sprinkle them in and create novelty. With Walk the Room, you can add that all the time because maybe what the students are looking at are going to be different. Centers might change as well. It still creates that structure for students, which is great because you're not reteaching how to transition, what to do at centers, so you can change those things. And then finding a partner, that also can be novel because students can find new partners to talk with. So the important thing is to reflect on your lesson planning when you're building it. Where can students move? How can I incorporate engagement with the aspect of creating more movement for my students? If there's a topic or you're recognizing things are going a little bit long, how can you add in some movement so that students have that engagement opportunity? Because as I shared at the beginning, it's hard to sit all day long and try to remember everything you've learned. But by putting in movement, it can create opportunities for connection. It can create opportunities for students to have discussions, reflect on their learning, and it just changes the environment. I hope you'll continue to join me for the Engaged Classroom series. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe this with anyone, and leave a comment below of maybe your favorite strategy or something that you're excited to try. With that, I'll see you at the next one.